A couple of months ago, I had a video that I had gone to the brand new coin show in Franklin, Kentucky, the first time they ever had that show. And at that show, I met a dealer I'd never seen before, and I had a clip from that video where he had an 8 for $1 bin of world coins. And at that price point, I'm going to buy a lot of things that I know I have, and a lot of these coins are going to go into the lots that I will sell on eBay at the end of the year. But at that price point, I'm going to buy a lot of things that are not as valuable, but might be countries or designs that aren't quite as common. I ended up spending $11, so there's over 80 coins here. And because of that, we're going to go through these coins a lot quicker than we normally would. However, there are going to be some coins in here that I have never seen before, and I will pay closer attention to those. And so he gave me a couple of little bags here for me to put all these coins in. And one of the first things I found was these Switzerland 5 francs. And anytime you can find this in a 25-cent bin, I'm going to pick it up every single time, if nothing else for the foreign exchange value. Because 1 franc is stronger than a United States dollar, so I paid $11 for every coin that you're going to see in this video, but these right here just have a foreign exchange value combined of $11, and so I've gotten my money's back just on these 2 coins if I knew how to cash it in. But I'll give you a secret. Here at the very end of the video is going to be a coin worth twice what these are worth. There are some varieties over the years, such as the number of, the edge lettering on here, right after 1994 or so, is raised, but it's cut into the edge in some earlier years. And of course, it was silver back until about 1967. This is KM40A.4. And then I also found 4 of these Swiss 2 francs. And so these aren't going to be as valuable as the 5 francs, but they are certainly worth having. One thing I'll point out, since I have both of these together, let's see, we've got the 93 and this one is the 78. There's going to be a different number of stars on here. The one on the left has 23 stars because it's newer, but the one on the right has 22 stars as it's older. And it looks to me like the stars on the right are a little bit smaller, and I believe that represents the number of states, or they probably call them cantons, that are in Switzerland. So I wanted to point that out since I really have 2 of these side by side. And then I have a couple of Denmark 2 kroners. 1996 is barely a better date, but these are only worth about 40 cents each. But hey, the price I paid for them, I'm glad to have them. With a similar design, I've got this 5 kroner from 2000. The KM 869.1. And a lot of people forget that the Danish kroner never went to, they never switched to the euro. 1 kroner has a foreign exchange value of about 14 to 15 cents. And so in foreign exchange value, this is worth 75 cents, but the catalog says this one books for $1.50. But then let's move to the 10 kroner, and this one's going to have a foreign exchange value of $1.50. On the left, we have 1989, on the right is 1990. They are slightly different catalog numbers. If you look above the one in the date, the one on the left has initials of NR, and the one on the right has initials of KG. So one of the mint officials changed between those 2 years. But even better than the 10 kroner is going to be the 20 kroner. And so I found 3 of these. These are all going to have the same catalog number. They're all, one's 1991. And so with the 20 kroner, that's going to be a foreign exchange value of $3. And while we're talking about kroners, here we have a 5 kroner from Sweden from 1984. This coin books for $1. This year it has a U, Utrecht Mint. And then also another 5 kroner. This one's going to be the one from Norway from 1998. Also books for $1. Most of the circulating coins from Ukraine didn't change that much, but this one is a newer version and ended up getting 5 of these. They're all dated 2018, which I believe is the first year of these. And this one features Vladimir the Great. And I believe these are still made. Not particularly valuable, but since they're so new, they're easy to find. So there's a 3rd one, a 4th one, and a 5th one. In Russia, the smaller coin is called kopek, but in Ukraine, it's called the kopykia. So this one is the smallest coin that they've made, the 1 kopykia, from 2003. Then I picked up 3 of these 25. The plural of kopykia is kopyak. 2011, 2013, and another 2013. The catalog says these book for $2.50 each. I don't know if people actually pay that, but that's what the catalog says. Then we also have the 50 kopyak from 1992. This first year there are a couple of varieties to look at. These ended up being the same. If you look here to the right of the last of the letter K, there are 5 dots or berries in the leaves right here. There is another version where you can find 4 berries. And then as we look at the edge, this is going to have segmented reading with 16 lines through each reading. There's another version where it's 7 through each reading. And then in the catalog, that last one was catalog number KM 3.1. Later on, it became KM 3.3b, the 2014 version. The last 2 were $1.75 each, and this one books for $3. Next up, from the Kingdom of Greece, we've got 2 of these 10 drachma from 1959. Now, one thing I've noticed about this coin, if you look at the hair back here, it's really hard to see, and it gets well worn really easily. And so the difference between uncirculated and extra fine is really significant. At extra fine, they book for 50 cents. And if you can find an uncirculated MS60, it would book for $7. So I'm calling these extra fine just based on the hair, which gets well worn. Got a couple different versions of the South African 2 Rand. This one was made in 1989, and both of them are going to have the same verse on them. The version from 1989, this is the first year they made it, and so around the crest it has South Africa on that side and South Africa. But then starting about 2000, they've changed the design on the back, and since they have about a dozen different languages spoken in South Africa, they changed the words written on the coin, and it cycles through a dozen different versions that cycle through every dozen years. And then the older one books for $1 and the newer one books for $2, and I did not have this 2005 version. One other thing to point out is this design came around again about a dozen years later, except the little initials ALS moved from here offset to the left, moved centered on here. So that's another thing to look out for. That change happened after the Krause catalog stopped updating, so it's not given a new catalog number, but it is something to look out for. Vietnam is usually a hard country to find. These are the ones I find the most are these South Vietnam from around the late 60s to early 70s, featuring a rice plant. I have picked up several of these this year, though, so maybe this one's not as special. Then from Pakistan, we have this 5 rupees from 2004. This coin books for $1.50. From Israel, of their current monetary system, this is the smallest denomination coin. I believe that is a rowboat, and the value is a 1 agora. Plural of that is agorot, so this one is the singular agora. From the Dominican Republic, I found a couple of these 25 pesos. (2005) and 2010. These book for $3 each. I will say this guy had quite a large bin of these world coins, and while I ended up picking up a lot, I didn't have a chance to go through everything because I was waiting for a friend to show up, and he showed up while I was going through this bin, so I just stopped at what I had. And if you feel sorry for the guy for selling so much to me, I did buy some other carded coins from his booth, so don't worry about him getting ripped off from me. I ended up buying even more, but these were the bargains. From Panama, we have a 5 centésimos from 2001, a little bit well-worn, but it's harder to find this newer version, featuring Sarah Sotil. Then from Yugoslavia, we have this 5 dinara from 1972. This one only books for 20 cents, although in 1972 there was a variety on the way the number 2 is drawn on here. And the inside of the top part of the 2 is larger in this version, so it's called the open 2. Then from Somalia, this elephant is it's an FAO coin for 21st Century Food Security from 2002. The value of this coin is written in their old monetary system or the new name, scalini or shillings. Most of the coins from Kuwait look about the same. This one is the 100 filled, so I think this one is the largest of their circulating coins. Has a date on our calendar of 2005. Their calendar is 1426. Next, we have a coin from Brazil, which was the second one that is new to my collection. It is the 1 Cruzeiro from 1960. This is made out of aluminum, and a lot of the coins from Brazil about this time look about the same, so it's kind of hard to remember what I do have and what I don't have. Previously, this coin was smaller and made out of brass. This side features the national arms. It was made from 1957 to 1961. This coin is cataloged KM 570. Then from Italy, this one is a nice coin, although I don't believe that's mold. I think it's got some kind of something that's acting like paint that will hopefully come off. But this one is the 2 lira from 1940, or it has the year of the rule of the king, which is year number 18 in Roman numerals. There is an R mint mark, and that ruler was Vittorio Emanuele III. There are 2 versions of their coins during this time. This one is the non-magnetic version. And the last coin out of the first bag is going to be from Croatia. I believe this is a nightingale. It's the 1 kuna. And we call them Croatia. They call themselves Hrvatska. Their currency is the kuna. All right, so now let's open up the second half. There are more new coins in my collection out of the second half. And Mexico makes a lot of pretty coins. One of the ones I don't find quite as often is this 50 peso. Especially among the circulating large coins, there are several neat designs. This one I'm keeping as an upgrade in my personal collection. Catalog KM 440. 1982 is I believe, the most common date. And I like how a lot of these Mexican coins celebrate their culture. This coin has a catalog value of $5. Then from the Soviet Union, we have a 10 kopek. From 1983, this is a common date, so it's not going to have that large of a book value, but people do find these interesting. And then following the fall of Soviet Union, here is a Russian coin. This one's going to be a 50 kopek. One thing I want to point out about it is it does have St. George slaying the dragon, which we see on coins from many countries. This one has a mint mark underneath the front paw of the horse that looks like a C and then a kind of like a pi symbol for math. In Cyrillic, that's going to represent the mint mark of St. Petersburg. The other mint mark you could find on these is M for Moscow, but this one is the 50 kopek. Now we're going to move to Iceland, or as they spell it, looks like you would pronounce that island. 1981, this one is a 1 krona. Featuring a cod. This is the version of the coin made out of copper nickel, and later they made it out of plated steel. From Tunisia, this one is a design. I think this is still a valid currency there. This one's going to be a 100 millim. And since it's brass, I oftentimes find these tarnished. This one's better than I usually find it. Got a date on our calendar of 1997 or the Arabic calendar of 1418. This coin books for $1.25. This next coin is from Lithuania. It's a little bit rougher shape than I'd like, but it's a coin in really a country that's somewhat hard to find. This one's going to be from Lithuania. And pretty much all their coins are going to feature this ancient design. This one's going to be the 2 centai. Here's another good one, anytime you can find it in a quarter bin. This one is going to be from Ireland, from 1994. This one is the 1 pound, or they would call it the 1 punt. And it features a red deer. This coin books for $4. We're going to move to El Salvador. This is a 1 cologne. And the cologne is named after Cristobal Colon, which is how they say Christopher Columbus. It turned out I didn't have this coin either, because in 1991, it was the only year they made this coin out of copper nickel. Clad steel. This coin books for $1. And is, yes. We're going to move to Sierra Leone, another country that's not that easy to find, although when I do find them, this is the coin that I find the most often, the half cent and then the 1 cent, made in 1964. Not worth a whole lot, only books for 15 cents, but again, you don't find as many of them. And then in Turkey, got a few coins from Turkey. This one is the newest one. It was when they redesigned their currency, and it was called the New Kurus from 2005. The new Kurus design lasted for about 2 or 3 years until they just changed it to the Kurus and lira system, but this one, good to find. This one has Ataturk on it, like a lot of their modern coins. And then here's a coin when they were going through their hyperinflation, again featuring Ataturk, a design that we see more often. This one is the 100 lira from 1989. This next coin I picked up in the unlikely event it was actually silver. It is not. But again, it's from Turkey, featuring Ataturk looking to the left. It's from 1957, and it's a 1 lira, and obviously it's in pretty bad shape. But this was a 1-year coin because it was the only year this was made out of copper nickel. And then we have a similar design when it was made out of stainless steel. So this one is much easier to find. This one's dated 1964. I really like the new design of the modern coins from Colombia that feature local animals. This one is going to be the 500 pesos from 2019. It's bimetallic. And features, I believe this is called a glass frog, but the scientific name is written there at the top. KM 298, books for 75 cents. Then we'll move to Bulgaria, where they had a currency which lasted from about 1999 to 2001. At least that's the design of these. But this coin features the Madeira horseman that you find on most of their lower circulating coins at this time. The 50 Statinki. And then this next coin from Bulgaria, I've only found 2 or 3 times. It has once appeared as a thumbnail in one of my videos a couple of years ago. And I believe it's a 1-year coin from 2002. They're in Cyrillic, and so you might not know how to pronounce that. It's the 1 lev. We flip it over. This side features Saint Ivan of Rila. This coin does book for $1. KM 254. And then from the country of Guyana, another country that's pretty hard to find coins from. Surprisingly, I usually find this coin in really good shape, with still having some mint luster to it. Although here in high def, it does look a little bit scratched up. Dated 2015, this one is the $5 coin, and it features some sugar cane. Anytime I can get a coin from Guatemala, the 1-cent coin from Guatemala, at a cheap price, I usually pick it up just because there are so many varieties in the catalog. Some of those varieties have to do with the length of the tail of the Quetzal bird that's on this side, but there are lots of design small changes that they've made over the year. This 1 centavo is 275.2 in the catalog. Won't book for a lot, but it didn't cost me a lot either. And then the 50 centavos features the white nun orchid flower. And I have a couple of coins from the country of Jordan. This one is dated 1949. It's going to be a 5 fils. They call themselves the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan. And this coin is kind of rough shape, but it still books for $2. But then I have another coin from Jordan, also a newer version of the 5 fils. This one's dated 1970 on our calendar. And this one features King Hussein. These are oftentimes found well worn, so this coin only books for 75 cents, but if you found it Uncirculated mint state 60 would book for $10. Another hard country to find. I first learned this country as Eritrea, but I've heard it also pronounced Eritrea. This coin was not made in 1991, but that is essentially when the country declared freedom, I believe. So all of their coins will have 1991 on this design. But as it features local wildlife, this coin from 1997 features a zebra on the 25 cents coin. This one's KM 46. We're going to have a coin from India, which I am keeping even though I've had plenty of these coins in the past. So stainless steel, 1 rupee from 2001. And instead of a letter for mint mark, they have a symbol. Hyderabad has a symbol of a star. In 2001, for some reason, the coins from Hyderabad added a second mint mark. Sometimes it's on the right of the ear coin, but this time it appears on the left. So we have a second mint mark right here. It doesn't appear any other year or any other mint. So this one is KM 92.2. Books for $1.50. Then we have the 5 rupee coin. It's a little bit older with a interesting, intricate security reading on the side. This is the version from 1999, and it's a country that, it's a mint that didn't make coins for India very long. If you look on the date, it looks like the letter M twice with a circle around it. That is the Moscow mint mark. KM 154.2. Books for $1. And then from a newer 5 rupee, this is the design made out of brass from 2016. Then we have a coin from Paraguay. 1 mil means 1,000 guaranis. This features the National Pantheon of the Heroes. It's the building on this coin. And we flip this one over. It honors Major General Francisco Solano Lopez, dated 2008. KM 198, that books for $1.50. We're going to move to Uganda. A coin that, believe it or not, I usually find this coin really well worn, even though it's not that old. This one is a 100 shillings from 1998, featuring a bull. And then another coin. This one's in better shape for the age. This one is the 200 shillings. Featuring, I believe this is pronounced the Kitchlid fish. This one is the magnetic version of this coin, and it's made of nickel-plated steel. Catalog KM 68A, and it books for $1.50. We'll move to Ethiopia. This is their 50 cents coin, and it features 5 different jobs that you would have in Ethiopia, so celebrating the local workers. There's 3 different versions of this coin in the catalog. This one is the stainless steel version. Those are numbers at the very bottom that represents the date of 2000. Their calendar is 8 years off of our calendar, so this was made on our calendar in 2008. This coin books for $1.75. We move to Spain, where they have coins featuring different autonomous regions. We have this 5 peseta that features La Roja, and it has, in 1996, it has the castle wall and the cathedral on the back. And then this one is the Dance of the Stilts. And then in 1995, the 25 peseta celebrates the region of Castilla and Leon. There is a rare variety I've never found where their word for and is the letter Y, and I pronounce it E. There's a rare version where that is missing. But I believe their most popular of the 25 pesetas is this version right here. And it features Don Quixote, the man of La Mancha, chasing windmills. So on the right we have Don Quixote with the windmill. On the right we have the castles of La Mancha. Those booked for $1.25 each. Well, one of them was worse condition, and so I only booked for 60 cents. We've got a couple of coins from Iran, from the time of the Shah dynasty. Those coins will feature the lion with the sword with the radiant sun behind it. It's a 5 rials. And as it turns out, I didn't have this one. It is dated on their Persian calendar of 1342. Our calendar is 1963. This one is KM 1175A. The book's for 40 cents. Then we also have this one, which is in nicer condition. It's another 5 rials. They changed calendars by this time, so it's got a date of 2536 and is catalog KM 1176. Similar design here. And when you compare the two, they're going to have different words that run across the top. They draw their 5 like an upside-down heart. And another thing I noticed is the newer coin is slightly, maybe 1 millimeter, smaller than the older coin. When I stack them up, you can see kind of a little bit of how the one in the back's a little bit wider. We're going to move to the Netherlands Antilles, which does feature the Netherlands monarch on it. Their one golden at this time was made out of a metal they called aureate steel, KM37. The monarch at this time is Queen Beatrix. But there's a newer version of this coin in 2014 featuring King Willem Alexander. This newer coin, since it's harder to find, books for $3. It's catalog KM91. This coin started to be produced in 2014, and that one is new to my collection. Until now, it only had the Willem Alexander coins on Euro coins. We're going to move to the oldest coin of the video. This one is from Japan. Pretty well worn. This one is a 1/2 of a sen. It's dated as the year of the monarch number 18. That translates to 1885. There's 2 different versions of this coin based on the year, and it has to do with the shape of the scales on the dragon. It's kind of well worn and it's hard to see, but the scales on this one make kind of a V shape, whereas on the older version it was more rounded. This coin is Y16.2, and even though it's kind of rough shape, it books for $1.25. Let's move to Fiji. It's a coin featuring the portrait of Queen Elizabeth from 2009. This is the 20 cents coin featuring a whale's tooth, which is used in ceremonies. This coin is catalog 121. These last 3 coins are all new to my collection and things I've never seen before, and we're going to go back to Fiji. It's another coin dated 2009, so it is the same portrait of the Queen. This one is the design of the 50-cent coin, and it only appeared this way for this one year of 2009. It used to be a larger coin, and it used to be 12-sided. This features a takia, which is a sailing canoe. This one is catalog KM 122 and books for $1. But I thought this next one was really interesting. So Fiji likes rugby. And there is a version of rugby which I wasn't as familiar with, where there are only 7 players per side. And that's called rugby sevens. And it turns out that Fiji is a dominant player in the world rugby sevens competitions. The first year it was ever played in the Olympics was the 2016 Summer Olympics, where they came away with the gold medal. So these rugby sevens from Fiji were the gold Olympians. And this coin was made in 2017, the year after they won the gold medal. We flip it over, we see it's another 50-cent coin. And this side highlights Ben Ryan, who is the head coach of the rugby sevens there in Fiji. This coin is catalog 528. It books for $2.50. I did not know that this coin was out there until I found it in this bin, but to also celebrate their championship, the country of Fiji produced a $7 bill that was legal currency, legal tender. And to my knowledge, it is the only time a banknote with the number 7, with a value of 7, has ever been produced anywhere. And so that one's a little bit easier to find. People usually sell it on eBay for about $10 if you wanted one of those. They made one in 2016 after their gold medal. And then I think they made another one in 2000. They had only won a bronze medal, but they still made another commemorative $7 bill. Now, I pride myself at being able to spot silver coins that other people have overlooked. So when I'm looking through 25-cent bins, usually I'm kind of surprised every time I find a silver coin. And then when I look on eBay lots, sometimes I'll scan it to see if I can find a silver coin that the seller doesn't know is there, and perhaps no one else who's looked at the listing and spotted it either. However, with this coin, I didn't realize it was silver when I picked it up. I thought that it was a little bit larger than I normally find coins from this era from Iran. But it did not occur to me that this was a silver coin. The previous 2 coins that we had from Iran were 5 rials. This one is the 10 rial. It's got a date there at the very bottom of on their Persian calendar of 1323, which our calendar is 1944. This coin is KM 1146. It is 60% silver, and since it is quite a chunky coin, that is going to have a silver weight of 0.3086. So 0.3 of an ounce of silver on here. The day that I am filming this, the value of the silver content here is $22.57. If I had paid $11 for just this coin and nothing else, I would have been very happy about it. And when I picked it up, like I said, I didn't even realize this was silver. I just thought, hey, I don't see these as often. I think it's really good for my selling pile. So certainly glad to have found this one. And so I spent $11 on just these coins that we've looked in the video today. And like I always do, I like to go and look up the book price of everything in the video. And so today's no exception. All of the prices that I'm taking today are out of the last Krause catalog, and so I realized that there's a lot of things in here that no one would pay that price for. And Numista is on many things going to say it's not worth as much. For this coin, I did take just today's spot price, and for the original Switzerland coins, I used the foreign exchange value. And I know I'm not going to make this amount of money off of it. I just like looking up the book value on these coins. The book value of everything that we looked at in this video was $134. But the day I made this purchase, I was so thrilled with it that I miscounted, and I could have picked up a couple of extra for the same price. I ended up picking up 86 coins that we went through in this video. I should have picked up 88 at the $11 price, but I'm not going to complain. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. So until then, bye.